Yo, what is up, everybody? This is MonkayMakesGames, and I'm finally getting to making a tutorial series. I've been wanting to do it for a hot minute. I let my stepson pick the topic. He wanted to do a platformer kind of Mario style game, so that's what we're going to be doing. This is going to be a platformer series. We're going to continue for. I don't want to continue until all the way to completion. Well, not in the sense that we're going to finish it, but I don't want to make the whole game for you where you're completely following the tutorial. You should be able to take what you learn here and then kind of make your own thing. You don't want to be stuck following tutorials. You should just get some inspiration from them. So let's go ahead and get into this. I have the third person map open. I got all the starter content in it. I'm using Unreal Engine 5.5.4. I don't think this is the latest version, I believe. Yeah, the latest version is 5.6, but I'll have to install it later, but that'll take a lot of time. So we're just going to be using 5.5.4. I have some content in that I have downloaded from when they was giving away free assets every month. So I have the modular RPG Heroes PolyArt, and I'll show you the screen for that on fab.com. It's made by Dungeon Mason. I have the platformer stylized cube world, which is made by PolyArt 3D, and I have the skeleton crew assets, which was created by BitGem. And all those are on Fab. They were released when they were doing free a month, but I don't know how much they cost now. You don't really need these to do what we're going to be doing because you can do it with anything, but just swap it out with whatever you have available. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's open our new folder. We're going to call this My BP. The first thing I always like to do when I start my world, just me personally, I'm not saying this is the correct way because there's multiple different ways to do this, but I always like to make my characters first. So My BPs. This is my blueprints. Hold on, not in this folder. Content. Move here. Put it in the wrong folder. New folder. We're gonna call this. I'm gonna do this. Player character. Player character. We're gonna do new blueprint class. We're gonna call this a character, and we're gonna name our character Aki. Aki. Let's go ahead and get into this. So we have this. This is nothing in it. This is the capsule component, arrow component, so we know what direction it's facing. And we have our mesh. So now we're gonna open the modular hero character real quick. Now there's two versions of this, so let's look at both. So one is just the one mesh character, and it's exactly what it means. It's all just one skeletal mesh. So the whole mesh is one body part. Now, most people, when they're doing RPGs, they want to use the modular version of this character, which is, it doesn't look like it's all in one sync, but it's a bunch of different ones. It's the skeletal mesh, which is just the body. Then you have the shoulder pads, belt, headgear, shoes, gloves, hair separate. And the reason you do it separately is because in an RPG, obviously, you're going to want to get more items. And in order to get more items or attach them or detach them or swap them out or their skins, you're going to want to change each individual part separately, not the whole thing like this one mesh character. So, but as you can see, the body is doing something different. That's because we have it in the event graph where it says begin play. It connects all of these things right here, the hair, gloves, shoes, headgear, shoulder pads, belt, and face, to the root skeletal component, which is this. And you could swap it out to the face or anything, but this becomes the leader of this. So although those aren't shown as they're jumping here, it actually will do that whenever the game begins to play. Now, interesting enough, if we copy this and if we move this to the, let's disconnect, construct script, you'll see it'll do it right in the editor. Construct script, compile, save, viewport, and as you can see, they all snap to it immediately. So the construct script, construction script pretty much calls as soon as the object is constructed. So before, the game even begins to play, it calls this. So yeah, let's go ahead and get back to this. Now we can use this as our character, but we're going to try and make it ourselves because we're going to always want to, you never want to copy something, one-to-one, because you have to really learn and understand what you're doing. So we're going to take it as inspiration. We are going to copy some of this, but not all of it. So we are going to use let's do the cloth cloth 02. We're going to use this one. And we're going to rotate this to the correct area, the correct lane, 90. We're going to move it down a bit. I don't know why it does this. It's always my pet peeve. 90, or excuse me, negative 90, which would be about 270. We're going to move it down. Negative 80 should be fine. We'll have to compare it to the rest of the body. And then we're going to need to add skeletal mesh component. Call this, we'll do the head. Head, or is it called face? Face 03. We'll do face 03. 0 rotation, 0 location. Boom. See, it snapped right into place. As you can see, the creator has already prepared it to be used modularly like this. So we're going to do this for every individual part. Okay, so I got all the components in. I got the gloves, the body, the shoes, and the hair and the head. Okay, so now I want to take a look at what the modular character does right here. So if you look at this one, it does the shield, right weapon, backpack, left weapon, arrow, bow. And it already has that in the RPG character. Now, like I said, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. You've probably seen some first-person shooter tutorials where that is not the case, where they don't use this right here, where they don't attach them as a part of the overall blueprint. They'll actually just have a pickup on the ground and then it'll attach it to the actor instead of being connected, because typically with a gun or something that's more intensive, you're going to want to have its own blueprint, because now if you're doing it like this, basically if you get a new shield or a new sword, basically you're going to have to, the way that I'm interpreting it, you're going to have to run all of the unique weapon code in the event graph, the main character event graph. And if you have, let's say, 10 different swords and they all have 10 different things to do, you're going to start filling all of this area up very fast, because you're going to have to go back and change if this, if that, branch this, branch that. So I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're going to have a plethora of weapons and a plethora of items. But we're going to try and keep it simple, because this is, a quick game. We'll see which would be best. Let's see. Let's give this character. First, let's do this in the construct script, because I want to see it. Set leader pose component. Mesh. Boom. Except I want it to be the new leader for everything else. Get the hair, the gloves, head, and the shoes. Boom. Oops. Boom. Boom. Excuse me. Boom. Compile, save. Compile, save. So now if I go to here to that, I don't have to change everything. I can use animation asset just for a test. Boom, animation. Boom. As you can see, it's working all together. Okay, so I did a quick look through all the animations available, and I decided only 2 items or states, because the folders have a lot. It has let's go through it. It has the bow and arrow stance, the double sword stance, magic wand stance, no weapon stance, sword and shield, and the 2-handed sword. And the only ones we're going to use is the bow, the no weapons, and the sword and the shield. And the reason why is because the one distinct thing that the sword and the shield stand has that none of the other ones have is that it can defend, and also to just lessen our workload. The main important thing is I want the sword to work, so we'll do an idle, one without the sword, and then one with the sword. That'll be the main things we'll work on. So let's do this. Let's go back to here. We're gonna go to idle, just to set it for now. Idle, no weapon animation. And we'll have our character, we'll have him start off with the shield. That's one thing we will keep, because the shield is not going to have too much logic behind it, because we're going to keep it simple. My plan is to use only, for health and shield, it's not gonna be like a draining thing. Well, it will be, but it won't be super BP intensive. So we'll keep the shield inside, and we'll have our pickups just swap out whatever the shield looks like. So let's do shield, shield. What kind of shields we working with? This is gonna be like our starter shield. Oops, shield. No, definitely that's not a starter one. So we'll go with shield 1. Shield 1 because it looks the most basic. That's one way to start us out. And we can see, this is where this comes in handy. So where does this should this connect? Hand left socket, shield, hand left socket, boom, boom, boom. Let's copy this location and rotation. See, now that we can copy this, it makes our life a whole lot easier. We can copy our location and the rotation, paste. And it looks kind of a little bit silly now, but if we do idle with no weapon, idle, sword and shield, it looks a lot better. And then we'll have our sword in as well because we're going to keep that nice and simple. So we won't need all of this. The backpack, I don't think we'll need the backpack for this. Right up and left with arrows. Let's add our sword. Oops, I did sword. Said it's just doing. Oh, I did it again. So used to using Unreal Engine 4. Let's open it back up. So we're adding in our sword, copy. Now we're gonna need to copy the right weapon, not the left weapon. So hand R socket, of course, hand R socket. Now we're gonna copy all of this, copied, paste. Oops, copy, paste, boom. And we're gonna add another socket, you'll see in a second, to where it's unsheathed. And we'll see actually, because if we do it like that, there's no smooth transition to putting the sword and shield away. We'll see. Let's continue. So now let's go ahead and add a few variables here. We're not going to do too much this first episode. We just want to get the ball rolling to get these tutorial series going. And if you haven't noticed by now, this series is I'm gonna name it We Learn to Make Games, because I know how to make a few games. I'm not gonna sit here and perform or act like I'm the master or anything, but we're gonna learn to go and learn as we go. We're gonna try something new. We're gonna go over some things that we already know, and we'll just learn together. If you see anything you didn't understand, just put it in the comment section, or something you think that I can improve on, put it in the comment section. So do integer, because we're only gonna have like Mario health, hearts, or excuse me, Zelda health. So health, and we'll do, since we're not gonna do too much with our sword BP, this is where we have to make a decision. We're gonna keep it simple. There's always the moniker, keep it simple, stupid. So we'll just do attack, strength, and integer. Oops. Attack, strength. Attack, strength. Now this actually is going to need to be a float. We're going to make this a float. Float. Rename shield duration. Now the reason I'm doing this a float, because we're going to have the shield work a bit different. The health is just going to be 3 health, 2 health, 1 health, 0. But the shield is going to operate as like a timer. So the better the shield we have, the longer we can hold up our block for. We're not going to be able to block forever. So we're going to have that shield duration. And we're going to attack, health, attack strength, shield duration. What was the last thing I was gonna do? I can't even remember. There was another thing I literally remembered. What was I gonna do? Health, attack, shield. Oh yeah, okay. Armor rating. So this is how we're gonna do our armor, because my stepson, he wanted to have cool armor in the game. So this is how we're gonna do our armor. We're gonna have, let's say, 3 hearts for health. Then we're gonna add on to it based on our armor rating. And we're not gonna do it like Minecraft where it takes a percentage off. We're gonna keep it as simple as possible. The armor just adds another layer of hits. So if you get hit again, the armor's gone. And you gotta pretty much, get it again. And that is where we might actually do it a different way. But we'll see. So we're gonna go ahead and set our health. We're gonna do it to 3. Attack strength, we'll say 1 for now. You just do 1 heart off each enemy. Shield duration, how long should we be able to block for? We'll say 2 seconds. I feel like 2 seconds might be long. Armor rating, right now it's 0, so there's nothing extra going. And we'll add, I'm thinking, what else should we add? So one thing I do want to add, I know I'm kind of jumping around. I'm just kind of going as I feel it. Not really kind of planning everything out. We always should do that. Don't be like me, playing. Belt, I want to add a belt. The belt, this one's a little excessive. This one's a little bit whack. This is the one we want. Belt number 2, or belt number 2. Construct graph, belt, we're gonna add that in there. So it's following the leader. Boom, boom. Now it's attached. And these vials are giving me an idea. So should we do healing potions? But what would these other potions be? So many ideas, so many ideas. Let's go ahead and plop our character in the game. Let's see what he looks like. Just plop him right here. Play the game. And of course I'm lagging a little bit because I'm recording. But we're getting things started. We got our first character in the game. I think we're going to go ahead and stop here because it's actually super duper late on my end. But we're going to continue. We're going to probably set up his UI a little bit more. Go ahead and swap him as the main character and just get things rolling. Appreciate you guys checking out my tutorial series. I can't talk. That's how I know I'm sleepy. Thank you for checking it out. I'm going to continue to work on this, and we're going to just make progress together, guys. I also have a few other projects. I have not finished my, what was the name of the game? My time control game, which I'm still working on that, by the way, to the people who helped me with the voice acting. I'm still working on that, but I had to go back to the drawing board and redo some things. But yeah, just continue to follow my series, follow my channel, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.